All right, gonna do my impromptu speech. So let's do the wheel of names. My favorite childhood memory is. Give a second to collect myself. My favorite childhood memory is growing up with my best friend Zach, where we would go to his grandparents' apple orchard every weekend. Let me tell you why this was so fun and such a great memory, and memories that were made. We would go there every weekend, and we would just run around the apple orchard, picking apples, helping his grandparents out, and making sure that this apple farm ran effectively. Well, that's what we thought, at least. We thought we were really helping. Actually, we were just helping. We were just staying busy from his grandparents. They just wanted us to stay busy and do things. But what made these memories so great was that we would actually have, we call them like apple wars. And so out in the apple orchards, there were these big bins, and the bins were used to like store all of the apples that you picked. So they're like, I don't know, probably 4 feet by 4 feet big crates, and they'd just be full of apples. They would also have these same crates that were filled with what we called drops. And so these were all the apples that fell on the ground. So we would, part of our job there, we'd pick them up, put them in those bins, whatever. And then we would have apple wars with his uncles. And so what that looked like is we'd be running through the orchard, and we'd be grabbing all of these drops. And these drops were normally like really like degraded and like moldy, or just really just gross soft. You could like crush them in your hands. So what we would do is we would run through, and probably wasn't the safest thing being young, but we would just huck apples at each other. So me and Zach were always on a team, and we'd go against his uncles. And his uncles, they do like softball throws. Like they would just like, they'd see us out in the orchard, and they'd just do some like aerial shots. So they would just kind of like drop lightly. So they weren't like really pegging us. But me and Zach, our goal was to just hammer his uncles with these apples. And one thing that I remember, not like clear as day, that happened when we were doing these apple wars was I was out in the orchard. I had this really soft apple, and Zach's Uncle Tom was out a ways from us, and he didn't see me. And so I wound up as hard as I could, and I just hucked this apple, right? And so when I hucked it, Tom turned and he saw, and he did one of these things to catch it, because he's an adult, and I'm like 10 years old or something like that. He's an adult, so it wasn't that much speed behind it, and he could catch it. But when he caught it, he thought he was going to be so clever, and just thought he was like, this is the most awesome person in the world. At least I thought that. But when he caught it, it exploded in his hand. The apple was so soft that it exploded in his hand, and it just went all over his face. It was pretty wild, pretty awesome, because, you know, being 10 years old, that was just something we would make fun of Tom about for years to come, actually. We still talk about that just because of like how fun of an experience that was, and just like how we actually got Zach's Uncle Tom. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite childhood memories, was just growing up on that apple farm and just creating those experiences and having those apple wars with Zach and his uncles.